Hello everybody. Today we're talking about paranoia, anything to do with the subject. Welcome to Veda Vlog Every Day in August, day 5. So today I'm walking through this place that I've never actually walked before. It's near my old house where I used to live. Can't believe I've never been here. I just saw the library was right there. I never found it, and it's a very small town. I finally found it by mistake. But yeah, lots of beautiful nature places around here. But let's get on with the topic. Paranoia, being paranoid is a real thing. And hopefully you don't ever have it, but you can easily get into that frame of mind. I'm sure that you have experienced it from time to time and different levels of it, because we can all get paranoid once in a while. And I'm sure you have noticed that when you did get paranoid, it's not fun, because then you start like checking things out, getting worried, and then anything can happen, you like freaks you out. But the problem is, when you get paranoid, you actually can create crazy things to happen. So, yeah, say yes to drugs. Sometimes weed makes me paranoid. That is definitely something that can make you paranoid. Other drugs too, for that matter. And medications. Or worries. Worries can make you paranoid. So what happens is, I want to talk about an aspect of paranoia, because I get a lot of people who come to me for help that wonder if they're just being paranoid. They wonder if they have mental illness. They wonder if they have an entity or some kind of spirit attachment that is making them feel certain ways or freak out. And then when they're at that point where they're just kind of freaking out on things, when you're at that point, you can start creating supernatural things to happen. And I say supernatural, maybe it's not supernatural, but you guys always hear me talking about energy, right? And I always talk about everything has its own vibration. Everything has its own level or state of being. So if somebody, for instance, is super happy, you're going to have a lot of happy things happening with you. If somebody is super pissed off, how about those times when you get, like you're having one of those days where everything's going wrong? And no matter what you do, it's like a comedy of errors, although it doesn't feel like a comedy at all. It's like everything keeps happening. You drop things, you stub your toe, just everything seems to go wrong, right? Because you're in that vibration of things going wrong and things happening. So everything has a dimension. So wherever you're vibrating, you are going to be in a specific dimension that's going to give you specific results. So it matters how you feel. Your moods matter. How long you stay in a mood matters. How well you can keep your life balanced and centered really matters. If you're a person that just kind of goes up and down in your moods and in your vibration, you are going to have all kinds of crazy things going on in your experience. But if you can stay pretty even, then you're at a good point of attraction where you can expect your world to stay pretty centered. I mean, things can always happen, but it's when you're really sporadic that things become sporadic, and then you get really into this phase of the unknown and things happening that you're not expecting. And a lot of times, and it's not that the unknown is a bad thing, but when things come up that are unexpected, it can be not easy, or hassles, or cost you money, or cost you all kinds, peace of mind. So when you get paranoid, you get into that vibration. You get into that dimension. And so when you buy into the paranoia, and so once you're paranoid and then you get into it, you start getting deeper into it. So sometimes people get deeper and deeper into this paranoia and things start happening. So think about it, like if somebody thinks they're being followed and they're really paranoid, they're gonna always feel like someone's following them. And so they're always gonna be looking and checking. And look at behind me, somebody's following me. No, I didn't attract it that fast, I don't think, maybe. And then they think that somebody's always following them, so then you start attracting that somebody's following you. That's what happens. It's like the law of attraction. You magnetize what you think of and what you emotionally feel really strongly. So if you're freaked out about someone following you, you're going to attract people following you and situations of things following you. Now, in this universe, all kinds of weird things can happen. You can attract energies that are out there that wouldn't be out there if you weren't in that kind of emotional place. I'm just going to pull over here and let these followers get ahead of me. And so then you're talking about you can open yourself up to some really weird stuff. Really weird stuff, like things happening to you, I will call them even supernatural, because even though it's not supernatural, it happens because you attracted it and you created it. So, okay, somebody was recently telling me about this person that was a client, and I'm not going to tell the whole story. I don't even really know the whole story, but I heard some points about it, and this is just an example. Like, she was involved in something with some thing that happened with the police and some people. She was also like involved in her house, like all these weird things keep happening in her house, like electricity is acting weird, like lights going, you know, just like, yeah, like sparks of electricity sparking and like creating this dangerous thing. She said that she's been staying with somebody and her kid's milk will curdle in 2 hours. Things will go bad, like things that just aren't normal, that don't normally happen. And there's more. I mean, she's talking about, you know, once a certain time comes that she sees planes going over her house every, I don't remember how much, like every 10 minutes or something. And my followers are stopped up there, so I'm going to stop here for a minute. And that they're shooting these lasers and yeah, just like it goes on and on and on and on and on. And so, not to say like, oh, that you're crazy. Like, I will consider anything. I get all kinds of clients with all kinds of things. And sometimes they are crazy. Sometimes they are like creating these scenarios. And sometimes it's like real. And yeah, when you create it, it's real too. That is a real creation. But I'm talking about at the point of creation, like, is something really going on? Did something really come to you and start creating this havoc for you? Or is it something that stemmed inside of you that grew and created? There's all these different levels. And, you know, with her, I was just getting, she's just really paranoid and she's creating one thing on top of another. So it's not saying that the milk didn't curdle. It's not saying that the planes aren't flying overhead every 10 minutes and beaming lasers. It's probably all happening because she is in that dimension where these things are really creating. So that's what I'm saying. Like, when you can start thinking about things, it starts drawing the energy to you. Now, I have another thing that happened when I was in Bimini recently. And I don't remember how the subject came up, but I don't really want to go into it in depth, but about the government doing remote viewing. And how can I put this? I just want to surface this because I don't want to, because yeah, it does. It starts creating things. So they will remote view people that they feel like they don't know if they need to be threatened by their abilities and things like that. And so yeah, I don't even want to really go into that. So I'll just go over the overview. So once the topic came up, all of a sudden all these things started clicking. And I started thinking about specific people in my life. And I started saying, oh, whoa. I wasn't even, this all makes a lot of sense now. And so then you adjust what you do with certain people. And in the meantime, you start feeling that you can tell when somebody's doing that, tapping in, doing a remote viewing. If you're sensitive, you can tell. You can feel it. If you are intuitive, you start picking up the messages in different ways. But once we started talking about it, all of a sudden I felt that connection going on, and it was becoming more and more like real-time real. So this is what I'm talking about. And that wasn't paranoia. It's talking about how you can start getting into a certain frequency, a certain dimension, and then it just is because you're in that dimension. And you start experiencing things that you wouldn't experience if you weren't in that dimension. Now, things could come to you without you doing that. Things could come to you. This place is so interesting looking. But the point is, if you start dwelling on things, then it really starts coming to you a lot, and then you start experiencing the product of your experience. You start experiencing the reality of it, and it's not that it's not real, and it's not that paranoia is not a real thing. It is a real thing. If you start getting into that, you start creating these things that are real things. And then you really feel paranoid, and you really are in it, and it's really freaky, and it will just get worse, and it gets worse really easy. Like, it just becomes a thing really easy, and you experience all this freaking crazy things that you normally would not experience as a normal person. But these things are out there. This universe has everything. And it's what you tap into, the energies that you tap into, that you attract to you. So it is important how you feel every day. And it is important, your clarity, your confidence, your knowing of who you are and what you stand for, and your boundaries of what you will not allow in your space. And being really clear on that, because things can come in if there's any openings. If there's any openings. So I've told you before, and I'm going to say it in every single video, I help you understand your life and the universe so that you can gain the clarity and confidence and understanding to better maneuver yourself in life and the life around you, so that you can raise your experience and live your life at the levels that you prefer, and even better, because we always limit ourselves and we can always have better. So through my guidance, especially in the way I work with people in light activation healing and my spiritual journeys, we can move mountains. And I can see things that are in your energetic space that you probably don't even know exist. And I can explain a lot of things that happen in your life that you wouldn't connect without the help. This is my genius. And the way that I'm able to do that in a deeper way is through my light activation healings, and also through my spiritual journeys that I lead people on. And I encourage you I encourage you, if you want to make the best of your life here, to work with me one-on-one, especially on a spiritual journey, because we go and work with specific energies to do specific things. Again, that is my genius. That's my thing. I see people transform before my eyes all the time. It's what I'm here to do. So, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that subject of paranoia, because if you get caught up in that stuff, you could create some really drastic and unnecessary things in your life that, you know what, life is enough without that stuff too. Because when it gets to the point where it consumes you, sometimes it's hard for you to get out of that. And in some cases, people never get out of it. Okay, so when clients come to me to work with me and they have these kind of issues or similar, I know which clients are going to work through it and I know which ones aren't, just by asking them what's going on and what their background is and things like that. I won't work with someone that I know that I can't help. I can help them, but it takes their participation for something to sustain and change in their life. In any work I do. And something like this takes a lot of focus and participation, and I tell you what you need to do, and you just need to do it. And you need to keep doing it. And you need to keep doing it even when you're tired of doing it, because the only way to get rid of some of this stuff is to stay on it and be persistent, because this stuff, once it gets in, is persistent and it will try to out-battle you. And if it can out-battle you, it will. And so it takes somebody that is just like determined that it's not going to out-battle them and that they're going to get on top of it. Because you can. We have free will. So nothing can really stick with us that we don't want to stick with us. But sometimes when you've let it in for too long of a time, it knows you very well, and it knows your weaknesses, and it knows how to get over on you, and it knows your breaking point. It knows if it just persists that you'll give up, or you'll stop doing it, or make an excuse for not finishing it or whatever. It knows that. So you've got to take yourself up levels and beat it down, because believe me, it's beating you down. So you got to be the winner and the person that decides what you're going to allow in your life, because it's a pretty miserable life when you don't take the upper hand. And when something's been with you for a long time, it's like losing weight. If you gained 200 pounds over 20 years, going on a diet and exercising perfectly for 3 months isn't going to take that 200 pounds away. It's a process. So it's like that. And I'm not saying it has to take years to get rid of. It doesn't. Because the techniques I use are very powerful, and I get the guidance from the divine and the healing team. So we know exactly what needs to be done. It just has to be done, and it has to be done consistently and persistently until it just doesn't need to be done anymore. And then once it's doesn't need to be done anymore, there are going to be times when it does need to be done. So you got to remember what to do and do it. And that's it. Because once you have attracted that in your life, you've attracted it in your life. You are susceptible to that energy, and it's not to say that it would come all the time, but it might come here and there. Okay, so you just got to know when it's coming in and what to do, so you just annihilate it immediately. So I help people with this a lot. I've helped people get off prescription drugs because they were taking it because of this stuff was messing with their brain. And I've helped people just get a normal life again. I mean, my clients aren't weirdos. Like, well, I do have some weirdo clients, but I'm weird too. Everybody's a little weird. But I mean, I'm talking about, I have white collar clients, lots of them, that say, what's wrong with me? I was normal and then all of a sudden this thing happened. Are there other people like me? Yes, there are people like you. Yes. And, oh wow, look at this. I don't know if you guys can see this beautiful, big, huge bird over there in the background. It's way in the distance, it's walking. Probably can't see it. Anyway, yeah, it happens to normal people. I have a lot of white collar clients, not only for this kind of stuff. I mean, it's not just the weird stuff. They come to clean up their life. They come to help figure out what's going on with their life. It was all normal until suddenly something changed. That happens with all of us. And so it just depends on the level of how much you want to settle in your life and just keep doing life as you know it, because that's what you should do. Or you acknowledge that in your heart you're not happy and you feel like you're living this life that, it doesn't feel comfortable anymore to you. It's not really bringing you any joy, and you do something about it. We are all here on a destiny. We're all here on a journey. And sometimes people come in our lives and relationships comes in our lives, and sometimes they end, and it's time to go to the next. And that's not always fun, but you got to be brave sometimes and just do what you need to do for yourself, because if you're settling in life, you're certainly not helping the people that you're with by settling, and you're not helping yourself. And I actually just wrote my 2 last blog posts. You can get to my blog from my website, and I'll put the link. My website's always in the description, and you can look for it says blog. And I just wrote one telling my story about a big turning point in my life when I left a long-term relationship. My whole life, basically, I walked out on it. So it says something about moving to Egypt, and then the one before that I've put 2 parts up so far. And so you can read that story, and I talk about making a choice for myself and why I made that choice. And it wasn't easy. It's never easy. Even when you hate your situation, or you hate the person you're with, or you hate your job, or you hate where you live, when you make a big change, it's not easy. It's never easy. But when you decide for yourself, and you decide, I want to feel good, I want to feel happy, I want to explore myself, I want to get to really know myself again, because we always have to keep getting to know ourselves at deeper and deeper levels. That's when your world opens up. That's when awesome things happen. And so that's how I live my life. That's how I live my life. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that subject today. It's a deep subject, but I think I did a good job of explaining it, an overview, enough for you to get grasp of it and realize not to let yourself go down that rabbit hole. Never let yourself go down any rabbit hole too far. And you know what else I wanted to say? Don't take life so seriously. I was thinking about that today. Just don't take anything about life so seriously, because it changes in a minute. It changes year by year. The things we were worried about 5 years ago, we don't even remember. The things we were worried about a month ago, we might remember them. But most of it, anything that we're worrying about, are probably the same things that we kind of worry about. And guess what? We're still alive. The boogeyman didn't get us. So just don't take it so seriously. Screw it. You know what? Do your best and take care of your shit and let life happen. But you've got to be the one to decide how you want to feel in life and make the decisions that are going to help you most in life. I help you with that too. I help you to see further into your future, to know where you're headed, so you can decide if that's where you want to go and how you want to go to it, or do you want to take a side path? So don't be afraid of dying. Compassion says, I'm scared of dying. You don't need to be afraid of dying. Somebody said that to me, like, I said, what's the worst thing that could happen? She goes, that I die. And I said, she goes, but I'm not afraid of dying. And I said, well, if you're not afraid of dying, then don't talk about it and don't think about it. Think about living. Like, wake up in the morning and say, holy crap, I'm alive today. Look at this. Isn't this awesome? I woke up. I'm alive. Woohoo! What can I do today? Now that I know I'm alive, what can I do today? I just found this little gazebo, or big gazebo. I love this little park. Celebrate when you wake up instead of worrying about dying. And you can't do anything about that, except when you worry about it, you're drawing it to you. Just like what I've been talking about in this whole video is what you're putting your vibration to. You're attracting like a magnet to yourself. So stop thinking about dying. Think about living. When you die, you're gonna die. And guess what? We choose when we're gonna die. We have 2 or 3 exit points where things will happen and we'll go, this is the time or this is not the time. So whatever happens, it's your destiny. So while you're alive, while you wake up every day, say, woohoo, look at this. I woke up today. Isn't this awesome? What can I do now that I know I'm alive? What can I do while I'm alive? Okay? That's what you want to do. And Say Yes to Drugs says, does thinking, and it just disappeared off my screen, so I missed it, sorry. Unfortunately, the chat doesn't just stay on my screen. And I also want to say that if you guys put a comment while I'm recording live, it does not translate to the recorded version on YouTube under the comments, unfortunately. I don't know why. So if you have questions, once this video uploads, go to the comments and put it there so I can see it, because I don't always see it. And when I'm talking, sometimes I'm just like in that space where I can't read it because I'm giving you guys information. And also, please remember to subscribe to my channel if you like it. Like this video if you think it's good. And say hi in the comments. If you don't have a question, just say, hi, I watched this video today, because I'd love to know who's watching. And I guess that's it. I will continue on from my walk. I'll give you guys one last view here. It says plan a group trip to Hawaii. I do have a group trip to Hawaii planned, and it's a really good deal. And it's for a very small group because we're all going to stay in a house together, and it's happening in October of 2017. So if you're interested in that, go to my website, CindyEiler.com. It's in the description, and I will update the description when I get home to put the Hawaii trip link in there. But if you go to my website, under travel, choose Hawaii, and you will see the information. If you're interested, definitely hit me up, because I think there's only room for 4 more people, something like that. And that is such a healing and blissful, life-changing journey. I would love to see anybody there that wants to work with me and experience some magic, and magic in a good way. When I say magic, it's not hocus pocus. It's just like the blessings and the miracles of the universe handed to you on a aloha platter. Okay, everyone. I think that's it for today. I will see you tomorrow. I have some good topics coming up. So stay tuned. Join me tomorrow. Make sure you hit subscribe and the notification bell so you know when I'm going live or when I posted a new video. Okay? See you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Thank you for joining me for Veda Vlog Every Day in August, day 5.